Okay, let's set the scene. It's the summer of 1966, Chicago. It's sweltering, really punishing heat.
Hmm.
But there's more going on, right? A kind of mounting unease in the city.
Definitely. A lot of social tension just simmering under the surface.
And then July 13th, there's a storm brewing, literally. And inside this quiet townhouse on the east side, something truly awful is starting to unfold.
Yeah. A private nightmare, as you put it.
That's where Richard Speck comes in, a name that, well, became infamous overnight.
Absolutely infamous. He committed an act so methodical, so brutal, it really shifted how people thought about mass violence in America. It wasn't just the act itself, but the coldness of it.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We want to go beyond just the headlines, beyond the shock.
Right. We're aiming to look at the details of the case, the facts,
Hmm.
but also Speck's own troubled background.
And crucially, the experience of the sole survivor. Her resilience is just incredible.
Incredible. Yeah. And then the lasting impact, right? How this crime changed things, views on violence, security, the justice system itself. It's not just what happened, but really trying to understand why it still matters.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we've really focused on articles, research, all centered specifically on the Speck case.
Mm.
So we can pull out the key details, the most important insights from this, let's face it, chilling story. We want to give you a sort of shortcut to understanding this really pivotal moment in criminal history.
A very unsettling moment.
So let's start maybe at the beginning for Speck, his background. What do the sources tell us about his early life? Were there, warning signs?
Well, that's a key question, isn't it? He was born Richard Benjamin Speck, December 6, 1941, seventh of 8 kids.
Wow, big family.
Yeah. And his early life, pretty much every account points to instability, tragedy even. His father, who was apparently the only sort of positive male figure he really knew, died when Speck was only 6.
Oh, that's young. Tough
Yeah.
start.
Very tough. And then his mother remarried a man named Carl Lindbergh. He was a traveling insurance salesman, and the sources suggest he was abusive. He created a really volatile home environment.
So that early instability, it wasn't just a phase then.
No, not at all. It seems to have really laid a foundation.
Yeah.
He grew up mostly in Dallas, Texas, and the delinquency started surprisingly early. Heavy drinking by age 12.
Oh.
12, yeah. He dropped out of school in 8th grade. And after that, it's just this long string. Burglary, theft, assault. Things are progressively more violent.
And the system didn't really catch him.
That's a critical point the sources make. He had numerous arrests, yeah. Short jail stints. But he never really seemed to face, major consequences for the escalating behavior.
So he just kind of drifted.
Exactly. Adrift.
Yeah.
Floating between jobs, cities, often working on the fringes like maritime work.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just him being adrift. It suggests maybe a bit of a blind spot in the system back then. It almost seemed like these early failures to intervene properly just let the violence escalate.
And by 1966, he ends up back in Illinois.
Yeah, back in Illinois. Bitter, angry, and as we now know, incredibly dangerous.
So he's in Chicago. He has this background in maritime work. What actually led him to that specific townhouse on East 100th Street on July 13th?
He had actually gone to Chicago specifically to get work through the National Maritime Union Hall, find a ship.
Okay.
But he didn't get one. Failed to secure a position. So he's disappointed, agitated. He starts drifting around these sort of seedy motels, drinking heavily, some minor crimes.
And then that night.
Then that night, July 13th, fueled by who knows what exactly, rage, despair, alcohol, he forces his way into that townhouse, 2319 East 100th Street.
And inside.
Inside were 9 young women, nursing students, most studying at South Chicago Community Hospital. Many were recent immigrants from the Philippines. They had absolutely no clue what was about to happen.
The descriptions of what happened next, the sources call it a slow-motion massacre. It sounds just horrific. Can you walk us through that sequence? What made it so exceptionally harrowing?
It's incredibly difficult to recount. He methodically tied the women up, used torn bed sheets.
Yeah.
Now, he claimed later his only plan was robbery.
But his actions.
His actions told a completely different story. Over several hours, and that's key, the duration he took them one by one, isolated them.
Oh, God.
The violence that followed was calculated, personal. It wasn't quick.
Yeah.
By the early morning of July 14th, 8 of the 9 women were dead.
8.
8. And each murder was slightly different. Some strangled, some stabbed. One victim, Gloria Davy, was also sexually assaulted. The methodical, almost unhurried nature of it all, spanning hours. That's what really stands out. It's sheer depravity.
It's unimaginable.
But in the middle of all that horror, one woman did survive.
Yeah.
Corazon Amaral.
Yes. Corazon Amaro.
Her story is just It's vital, isn't it? Not just survival, but resilient.
Absolutely vital.
Yeah.
What she did that night and right after was just extraordinary. She managed to hide under a bed.
Under a bed.
Yeah.
While all this was happening. Yes. Paralyzed by fear, obviously, but hidden. She listened to everything unfolding just feet away. And then, when it finally went silent, she waited.
How long?
For hours. Hours passed before she felt safe enough to crawl out. She got to a window, opened it, and just screamed for help.
Incredible bravery.
Unbelievable courage. And her actions, they didn't just save her life, they immediately put the police on Speck's trail. Her testimony later. It's a powerful reminder of human resilience and just how crucial victim testimony is for justice.
And her description must have been key. The police arrived to this horrific scene.
A scene of just profound brutality. But because Corazon gave such an incredibly detailed description of the attacker,
They got a sketch out quickly.
very quickly, a composite sketch was released and plastered all over Chicago. And it worked.
How soon was he caught?
Just days later,
Yeah.
July 17th, Speck was actually arrested at Cook County
The
Hospital.
hospital. Why was he there?
He had attempted suicide, slashed his wrists, but a doctor there recognized him. Specifically, recognized his tattoo.
Ah, the Born to Raise Hell tattoo.
Exactly. That tattoo became this chilling symbol associated with him, and it led directly to his arrest.
So striking. Okay, so the trial, it starts April 1967. Huge media attention, I assume.
Oh, massive. Intense national interest. Speck pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, claimed he had no memory of the crimes at all.
But Corazon Amuro's testimony, that must have been the centerpiece.
It was the absolute linchpin for the prosecution. Her testimony was direct, unwavering. Apparently, there was this incredibly powerful moment when she pointed right at him in the courtroom.
And said,
"This is the man." It just left very little room for doubt. The jury deliberated for less than an hour, I think.
wow.
On April 15th, they found him guilty. All 8 counts of murder. And the sentence was death.
But as we know, that death sentence didn't happen.
Correct. It didn't stand. In 1972, there was the landmark Supreme Court case, Furman v. Georgia.
Right, that temporarily struck down the death penalty across the country.
Exactly. It invalidated all existing death sentences at that time, including Speck's. So his sentence was commuted, changed to 400 to 1,200 years in prison.
Which is effectively life without parole. Forever.
Pretty much guaranteed he'd never get out. And that decision from it really shifted the whole national conversation about capital punishment for a while.
Yeah.
It affected countless cases.
So he spends the rest of his life in prison, Stateville Correctional Center.
That's right. Decades in prison. And for many years, he kind of faded from public view, just another inmate, really, serving his time. The sources suggest, though, that his behavior inside prison remained antisocial. No real change there.
But he came back into the spotlight later, didn't he? After his death, even.
Yes, dramatically so. In 1996, years after he died, this video surfaced, leaked prison footage.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. What did it show?
It was shocking. It showed Speck appearing to wear women's underwear, taking what looked like drugs, bragging, and talking quite openly and chillingly about the murders. It caused this huge national outrage all over again.
And didn't he say something incredibly cold about why he did it?
He did. When asked basically why he killed those women, his response was just callous. He said, it just wasn't their night.
Ugh, just a complete lack of empathy.
Absolutely chilling.
Ugh.
Richard Speck died of a heart attack on December 5, 1991, the day before his 50th birthday. His body was cremated, ashes scattered, no marker, nothing.
So looking back at the whole case, the legacy, it's obviously one of just terrible brutality.
Profound brutality, yes. But it was also a real wake-up call for America, wasn't it? The scale of it, the intimacy of the violence. It forced people to confront some really uncomfortable truths.
About what? Like the nature of violence itself?
Yeah, and mental health complexities, for sure.
Yeah.
And also questions about the criminal justice system. How did he slip through for so long? Its effectiveness.
And it led to some concrete changes, too, right? The sources mentioned practical things.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Things like better security in hospitals and dormitories nationwide. That was a direct result. And it's still, a major case study in criminal psychology classes today. Shows how one horrific event can really trigger systemic changes.
It really does.
But I think, beyond Speck himself, beyond the horror, the image that really endures or maybe should endure is Corazon Amuro.
The survivor.
The sole survivor. The one who had to face him in court, relive that nightmare, and speak the truth. Her courage, it meant the other victims weren't forgotten. Their voices were heard through her. And it ensured justice, was ultimately served.
Yeah, her strength is just astounding.
Oh.
So as we wrap this up, thinking about this whole deep dive, Connecting Speck's background, the crime itself, Corazon's resilience, the societal impact, it really did force a confrontation with some dark aspects of society.
It truly did. Violence, mental health, the justice system, all put under a harsh spotlight.
So what's the takeaway for you listening to this? Maybe it's just that stark reminder how one single night can change everything. Not just for those directly involved, but for a whole nation.
Yeah, the ripple effects are profound.
It makes you think about those ripple effects of extreme violence, but
Mhm.
also, maybe, about the power of courage, like Corazon Amuro showed, even in the absolute darkest moments.
Yeah, though, yeah.
It really pushes you to consider how understanding these dark chapters actually helps us understand ourselves, our society, a little better. And maybe, just maybe, figure out how to prevent such things from happening again. Makes you think.
If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into more cases like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like the video if you found the story compelling, and share it with your friends and family who might be interested in true crime and mysteries. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with all our latest content and join a growing community of curious minds exploring the most fascinating cases. Click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything.